This has been a long year, but being the nerds we are, we found a surprising amount of joy in the gadgets we played with in 2017. Some of them helped us get things done more efficiently, others helped us escape the doldrums of everyday life, and still others gave us the ability to look at things from a new perspective. Whittling down our list was a tough task, but we did it anyway. In no particular order, let's take a look back at some of the best gadgets of the year. First up, we've got the iPhone X. Yes, it costs about $1,000, and yes, it's a radical departure from the iPhones of yesteryear. You'd better start getting used to it though, since this is clearly how Apple envisions the future of the smartphone. The home button is gone in favor of a new Face ID sensor, and as a result, Apple rewrote its rules for how we interact with iPhones. It takes a little getting used to, but the iPhone X actually seems a little easier to use than earlier models. It's also one of the fastest phones we've tested this year, and it has some great cameras, but that's usually true of every new iPhone. More importantly, augmented reality apps run great on the X, and we suspect we'll see Apple's facial recognition technology used in lots of really interesting ways soon. All told, the iPhone X feels like a surprisingly familiar slice of tomorrow, and we're okay with never looking back. We obviously love Android too, and the Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus were really special when they debuted earlier this year. As you'd expect from a Samsung device, they're incredibly fast, and the cameras are excellent, and let's be honest, no one makes better screens than Samsung. What we really love is how striking these phones look, even compared to the rest of the year's flagships. These are elegant, powerful machines, and they serve as proof that even after the Note 7 debacle, Samsung can still make phones worth yearning for. It's rare that we fall in love with a computer at first sight, but that's exactly what happened with Microsoft's Surface laptop. It's not the most powerful machine on the market, but the Surface laptop makes up for it with sheer style, a lovely screen, and some of the longest battery life we've seen on a notebook this year. It ships with a more restrictive version of Windows 10 S, but for hardware that looks and feels this good, we think it's worth splurging on an upgrade to Windows 10 Pro. While we're on the subject of portables, there's also the Nintendo Switch. Sure, you can dock it and play games on your TV, but there's something immensely gratifying about being able to walk out the door with it and pick up right where you left off in Breath of the Wild. Nintendo's first-party games have been really strong so far, and the Switch is even getting its fair share of ports like Skyrim and Wolfenstein 2. Not bad for a crazy hybrid console, right? For stay-at-home types, there's the Xbox One X, and let's just be clear, the One X is overkill for almost everyone, but if power is your biggest priority, this is the most powerful gaming console you'll find. The One X just begs to be hooked up to the biggest, best 4K television you can get your hands on. If you still have a 1080p TV and don't plan to upgrade anytime soon, the cheaper Xbox One S is the safer bet. The One X is a tough sell for casual gamers, and it lacks glitzy add-ons like a VR headset, but if nothing else, the Xbox One X makes gaming in your living room look better than it ever has before. We've been inundated with smart speakers this year, but of all the ones we've tested, the Sonos One simply sounds the best. That'll mean more to some people than others, but anyone who has tried listening to some sweet new tracks on an Amazon Echo or a Google Home will know they leave a lot to be desired. More importantly, the Sonos One's deep Alexa integration does a mean Amazon Echo impression, to the point where it'll do just about anything one of Amazon's speakers will. Sure, you can't use the Sonos One to send messages to Echo owners, but does anyone really do that anyway? Oh, and a new Spotify partnership means you can finally ask the Sonos to play all of your carefully curated playlists. It might sound strange, but many of us were also very fond of the Mighty, a tiny wearable you can download your Spotify playlists onto. The Mighty is a great companion for workouts and long walks and situations where you just need music playing, but you don't really want to keep digging your phone out of your pocket. Ironically, this iPod Shuffle lookalike doesn't actually shuffle songs, but hey, we like it anyway. You'll need a good set of headphones to use with some of our picks, and Sony's WH-1000XM2s are the best ones we've tried this year. That's not just because they sound excellent, which they do, by the way, just to be clear. They're also incredibly comfortable to wear for long periods of time, and the built-in noise cancellation is right up there with what Bose has to offer. Some of my fellow Engadget editors argue that they're actually a little better at noise cancellation than Bose, but I am not about to jump into that debate again. It certainly doesn't hurt that Sony upped the battery life up to 30 hours of use with Bluetooth and noise cancellation enabled. There are better sounding headphones out there, but as far as we're concerned, Sony's complete package is the one to beat. And then there's the DJI Spark, which just might be the easiest drone to just pick up and start using. Seriously, you don't even need a phone or a controller to start flying this thing. You can just turn the drone on, let it go, and control it with a few gestures of your hand. Taking drone selfies has never been easier, for better or worse. More experienced drone pilots and videographers should look elsewhere, but if you've always wanted to see what the hype was about without spending a ton of money or wrapping your head around some really tricky controls, the DJI Spark is the perfect place to start. Our last pick isn't so much a gadget as it is a feature, but we were really impressed anyway. Cadillac's Super Cruise is a semi-autonomous driving feature in the pricey CT6 sedan that takes over control of the car on the road as long as it can tell you're paying attention to your surroundings. You could be relaxing in the driver's seat listening to a podcast or chatting up a friend in the driver's seat, whatever, really, as long as you're driving along the right kind of freeway and look up at the road every 3 seconds or so. It's poised to take the pain out of really long drives, and we hope enough drivers stick it in their expensive sedans that the feature eventually trickles down to other GM cars too. And that is our list. It's taken us quite a long time to boil down all of the options into those 9 gadgets and 1 feature, but we really hope you enjoyed hearing about them and maybe trying them for yourself as much as we did testing them over the course of 2017. Now all that's left to do is to wait for 2018 to show up and to wait and see what kind of hardware it'll present for our delectation.